Hello and welcome to the NFL playoff review. So obviously playoffs aren't done. These are just like the first, the first games before we get to the championships and then before we get to the Super Bowl. I haven't posted in a while. It's running out of stuff to do. So honestly, if anybody watches this and has an idea of a video I should do, straight up say it in the comments because I'm running out of things to do. Um, yeah, let's get straight into it. So our first game was the Seahawks versus 49ers. Went about how I expected it, 23-41. The Seahawks, they held in there for the first half, kept it close, 17-16 by half, with the Seahawks leading, and that was all she wrote for the Seahawks. From there on, it was just all 49ers. Touchdown, touchdown, 2-point conversion, touchdown, field goal to give them 41, and then with the minute 48, touchdown Seahawks, failed 2-point conversion. And I was very happy with this. The Seahawks were terribly overrated. And I do believe the 49ers are probably, I don't want to say our best team, but definitely one of the contenders for the best team. And anybody in the 49ers conference, Cardinals, Rams, Seahawks, they were garbage. The Seahawks should not have gotten into the playoffs. They strictly got into the playoffs because they had a lot of free wins and basically just snuck in. And they got whooped in this first round. Second game, Chargers versus Jaguars. I mean, if you don't know what happened, you don't watch football because this was ridiculous. What was the score? It was like 27-0. 27-0 with 4 minutes and 25 seconds left in the second quarter. 27-0. And then right before halftime, Jacksonville puts on a touchdown, entered third quarter, actually like end of third quarter with about 5 minutes left. They put on another touchdown. Chargers kicked 3 to give them 30. That's all they wrote. That's all they were going to do today. They just decided to stop. And right before the end of the third quarter, Jaguars score a touchdown. 2-point conversion failed. So then we get into the fourth quarter, and they throw a touchdown, but a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Bosa because the Jaguars player moved, but it wasn't enough to be like, all right, yeah, we're gonna throw that. He got him really heated, and that actually gave them an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, which made the Jaguars want to go for 2. Lawrence just reached over the line with the ball and got it. And then they just, with no time left, went down the field and kicked a field goal and made one of the most greatest comebacks ever. Lawrence had 4 interceptions. 4 interceptions. And in total, the Jaguars had 5 turnovers. And the Chargers still lost. Tell me how that happens. I did believe the Chargers are a growing team still. They are good. They have the skill, but they definitely struggle in a lot of places. And if this game doesn't prove my point, I don't know what will. Dolphins versus Bills. Man, it just really sucks. Every time I see the score of this game, I just die inside. The fact that the Dolphins almost beat the Bills with a backup should have said enough about the Bills. Let's be real. It is a good game. I wasn't able to watch it. It looked like it was really close. The Bills got up to a 17-0 start. And then it was just 3 field goals by the Dolphins and then a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie it. But right before the half ends, Buffalo kicks a field goal. I'm telling you, that is all the Bills can do. That is the only part of the Bills that makes them look like a good team. It's in 33 seconds. They can go right down the field and score a touch and kick a field goal or maybe even score a touchdown. That's all they've done all year, is just in that time frame. Obviously, whatever the Chiefs did haunted them, because ever since that 13-second crazy time field goal happened, the Bills have been doing it right before half, right before the end of the game, right before half, right before the end of the game. Every single time. That's the only thing they're good at. At the start of the third quarter, in a minute, the Dolphins scored a touchdown. But then the Bills would go on a run, 14 points. And with 10 minutes and 53 seconds left, the Dolphins would score a touchdown and make it a 3-point game. And nothing. We just stopped. No points. Final 10 minutes or final 11 minutes of the game was just boring and nothing getting done. Let's check the turnovers. The Bills had 3 turnovers and the Dolphins had 2, which were both interceptions. And it was pretty even stats. It's just sad that the Dolphins weren't able to take this game, because I did start to see at the end the Bills were very overrated this season. And we should have seen that. I mean, a lot of people did. A lot of people didn't. Whatever. We should have seen. I wish they got knocked out earlier, because, yeah, there's no way this team was a 3-loss team. Sorry. It's just ridiculous. Giants versus Vikings, another case. This is like the Bills of the NFC, but this goes how we want it to go. I believe everybody was rooting for the Vikings to do very good this season until we realized how bad they actually were. And we all wanted them to fail. That's just what I think. The Giants somehow beat this team. Somehow. The Vikings had one of the best seasons of their ever. I mean, what? 13-4. Is that even after the game, or is that like... No, they finished off the season 13-4. One of the best teams in the league. And they lose to the Giants. It's like, how does that even happen? Another game, this was a game that I didn't watch because I didn't have it. I know, it sucks. But, I mean, we'll leave it at this, because ultimately I can pretty much tell you how this went. The Giants threw pass, caught touchdown, and the Vikings didn't. The Vikings probably just lost this game because they're just bad. I mean, let's be real. The Vikings won multiple games this year by very small point differences. And, yeah, when you get into the playoffs and you play like shit, it's just not going to get you anywhere. It's just not going to happen. You're going to get knocked out like this in the first round. Ravens versus Bengals. A game in which the Ravens actually should have won this. The most ridiculous turnaround of the season. They were right there. He reached over the line, and literally, as I watched that play happen, I was literally talking about it. I was like, he's gonna reach over the line and try and get it. He's gonna reach over the line and try and get it. And I'm like, whatever happens? Like, has that ever happened where somebody reaches over the line, pops the ball out? And I kid you not, it fucking happens. He reaches over the line, tries to be here, way too much distance to do that. Ball gets popped right out of his hand. Bengals take it all the way to the house. And this score really should be flip-flopped, and the Ravens should have played the Bills. Who knows how that game would have gone, but it should have been the Ravens ball game, and that would have been a crazy upset. If the Ravens would have won that, I would be rooting for the Ravens to win the Super Bowl, because that would have been crazy, because I believe the Bengals will probably be going to the Super Bowl this year. And, yeah, that turnaround was pretty much that game entirely. Literally enough for me to post a clip on it that wasn't a short. It's got to say something. Crazy, unbelievable, ridiculous game. Should have been a block in the back. Not really, but probably should have been. They probably should have. I mean, I don't know. It's a really tough decision, but that was like that effort by that tight end, I forget his name right now, was just ridiculous. He deserves a raise. Cowboys versus Buccaneers. Wait, I mean, I couldn't tell. I could not. Like, this was just a worse. Like, this was the worst possible matchup. You get my two most disliked teams in the sport of NFL football right now. You get the Cowboys, the Cowgirls. Why would I even say the Cowboys? The Cowgirls, and then everybody who likes this fucking flag just sucks Brady's dick team. Like, I just don't like these teams. As simple as that. And of course, you love to see them get paired together, and then you just know that one of them is going to advance to the next round, and that just hurts my soul because it's like, oh, why? Why even give them that? And I mean, yes, it was very nice seeing the Cowboys obliterate Brady. It was nice seeing that, but then the Cowboys got praised, and that was the death. And not much to be said here other than the Buccaneers were trash all season. They should not have been in the playoffs. It should have been the Panthers, but the Panthers managed to throw it away. It should have been the Panthers or even the Falcons, honestly, but it wasn't. Buccaneers got the playoffs. They immediately got knocked out because they're trash, and the Cowboys moved on. Round 2, this is our next week of football. This is where the games actually got juicy and somewhat enjoyable. Yeah, sort of. Jaguars versus Chiefs. I didn't watch this in live time, but I watched it back, and it was a pretty good game, honestly. What happened at the end was the Jaguars, again, sold it to turnovers. They were right there on the goal line, throw little check down pass, and he fumbles it, and the Chiefs get the ball. And then they're right there again, and Trevor Lawrence throws an interception. It's just like, oh my God, Jaguars, please, for the love of God. It should have been the Jaguars versus the Ravens in the AFC Championship. If that was the case, there would become all over the place because I would have been so happy to see that. I would have creamed. I would have been so happy. But not all things go in the direction you want, and we're going to have another, I guess, lame AFC Championship game. And yeah, this was just a disappointment for me. Giants versus Eagles, didn't watch it, but why would I when I look at the score and see it's as bad as it was? Normally when the score is like that, you almost turn on the game to be like, I bet you the Giants will start to climb back in. But then there's also those games where that just doesn't happen. And it's just like, oh my God, what just happened? The Eagles in their first playoff game make a statement by absolutely shitting on the New Jersey Giants. And not much to be said there. Really not much to be said there. Giants beat a trash team, and then they got their ass kicked. Giants should not have been in the playoffs. Honestly, I'd say it should have been somebody like the Packers. But, of course, that's not how the game wants to work. I fucking hate the game, but that's just how it is. Bengals versus Bills. I get it was a snow game, but I don't give a fuck, Bills. You guys were overrated as shit. Josh Allen throws way too many interceptions. And, yeah. Bengals walked on them. Yeah, it should have been much, 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 much worse. The Bengals could have obliterated this team, but certain circumstances held them to less points. But it's not like the Bills were really able to do anything other than turn the ball over. That's pretty much all that needs to be said about this shithole of a game. Bengals move on to the AFC Championship. We get Chiefs versus Bengals again, which I say is going to be another boring one. I don't mean boring. I mean it's just a repeat of last year, which is not really that fun. But the Bengals are back in it. It's great to see a bad team for all these years. They've been 2-10 or whatever, 2-11. I don't even know what the fucking records would be. But they'd be bad. They were bad for so many years, and now they're one of the premium top-tier teams. You love to see that. I love that. I love that so much. Bengals versus Bills. It was one slide away from a zero fuck-up anything, and I fucked it up. Cowboys versus 49ers. I was constantly turning this game on and off because of how boring and defensive it was. But ultimately, the 49ers were actually able to score. I mean, both teams. Wait. What? Oh, yeah. The Bengals Bengals. Both teams scored a touchdown. Right here, it's weird. Oh my God. The Cowboys kicker missed another extra point. That's crazy. So he can make 2 field goals, but he can't make an extra point. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. But the 49ers take this one. I really wish they just beat the crap out of them, but they didn't. Cowboys had 2 turnovers. 49ers had 1. And, I mean, yes, the Cowboys are out, but, of course, the game being close and defensive, they're going to get praise. They'll find a way to praise them. I was a little disappointed in the 49ers. I wish they just absolutely destroyed them. I wish at least they put on another touchdown to make it nicer, but they didn't. But the 49ers, hey, listen, the NFC Championship game is going to be a good one. 49ers versus the Eagles. Yeah, we saw the 49ers in it last year, but they're going up against the Eagles as the underdog. I believe they're the underdog, right? Yeah, I think they are the underdog. It's going to be a great game. That's all for the playoff review. I didn't do predictions because there was a time where I was like, I just didn't want to make any videos because making a video takes a long time. But I'm gonna try and make more because people want to see videos and shit. So with that being said, a like and a subscribe if you made it this far would be helpful. That would influence me a lot to do this. And that's all for me. Adios.